What if I told you making $129,000 a year doesn't make you rich anymore? In fact, for millions of people, it barely feels like enough. No luxury, no crazy spending, just survival. And the scariest part, according to the system, you're doing perfectly fine. For decades, people believed in a simple formula: work hard, earn a stable income, and you'd live comfortably. A house, a car, a family, some savings. That was the promise. That was the American dream. But today, that dream feels different. Because the numbers haven't kept up with reality, earning six figures can still leave you financially stressed. Let's start with something simple. The median household income in the United States is around $80,000 to $85,000 a year. On paper, that sounds solid, above average, stable. But here's the problem. That number doesn't reflect what life actually costs anymore, because income is only one side of the equation. The other side is cost. And that's where everything has changed. Imagine a family earning $83,000 a year. After taxes, they're left with roughly $60,000 to $65,000. That's their real budget. Now subtract the essentials. Housing, in many cities, that alone can cost $25,000 to $30,000 a year. Gone. Transportation, car payments, fuel, insurance, maintenance, easily another $10,000. Gone. Healthcare, even with insurance, premiums and out-of-pocket costs add up. Another $6,000 to $7,000. Gone. Childcare, if both parents work, this becomes unavoidable. $10,000, $20,000, sometimes more. And just like that, the math breaks. Before groceries, before savings, before emergencies, the money is already gone. Most people misunderstand. These expenses aren't optional. They're not luxury upgrades. They're the price of participation in modern society. You need a car to work. You need childcare to earn income. You need health care to survive risk. Fixed costs don't disappear when times get hard. They stay, no matter what. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. The government defines poverty at around $30,000 a year for a family. Let that sink in. $30,000 is considered struggling, but $80,000, $100,000, even $120,000 can still feel tight. So what's going on? The answer is simple. The definition of poverty hasn't kept up with reality. The current poverty formula was created in the 1960s. Back then, families spent about 1/3 of their income on food. So economists created a rule. Take the cost of basic food, multiply it by 3, and that's your poverty line. It made sense at the time. But today, everything has changed. Food is no longer the biggest expense. Housing is, healthcare is, childcare is. But the formula? Never adapted. Today, food makes up less than 10% of household spending. But housing? It dominates the budget. Home prices have skyrocketed. In many cities, homes cost 8, 10, even 12 times annual income. Healthcare costs have exploded. Childcare costs have surged. Education costs have risen. Everything that matters got more expensive, except the benchmark we use to measure struggle. If we updated the old formula to match today's spending patterns, the poverty line wouldn't be $30,000. It would be closer to $120,000 to $130,000. Let that sink in. That means what we call middle class today might actually be just barely getting by. Here's where it gets dangerous. There's something called the benefits cliff. If you earn below a certain level, you get help. Food assistance, health care support, child care subsidies. But the moment your income increases, those benefits disappear. Sometimes instantly. So you earn more, but end up with less. More income, less support. More pressure. During the pandemic, something unusual happened. Expenses dropped, no commuting, less childcare, fewer daily costs. And suddenly, people started saving money, not because they earned more, but because they spent less on survival costs. Think about that. The system didn't change. The costs did. Now everything is back, but more expensive than before. Higher rent, higher mortgage rates, higher insurance, higher healthcare costs. The squeeze is back, stronger than ever, and this is the new normal. So why does $129,000 feel like being broke? Because it's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep after the system takes its share. Taxes, housing, transportation, healthcare, childcare. These are the real forces shaping your life, not your salary. On paper, America looks richer than ever. More high-income households, more economic growth. But underneath, something is shifting. The cost of stability is rising faster than income. And when that happens, even good money starts to feel small. This isn't just about money. It's about perception. Because when the definition of enough keeps moving, people never feel secure. And when people don't feel secure, they stop taking risks. They delay life decisions. They play it safe. And slowly, the dream changes. Not because people failed, but because the system evolved without updating the rules. So the real question is not, why is $129,000 not enough? The real question is, how expensive has life become, that it even feels that way?